I'm okay. I'll get back out in the mainstream one of these days.
Can I get a cocktail here? Can everybody get a cocktail here?
Law enforcement officers today use a standardized and systematic approach to detect and apprehend impaired drivers. Their efforts help to keep our roads and highways safe. These officers are trained in spotting the visual signs of impairment, since alcohol and other drugs distinctly affect a person's ability to perform common physical and mental tasks, such as driving. The first signs are observed from how the individual is handling the vehicle, such as going too slow or too fast, weaving, crossing the center line, failing to obey traffic signals, making wide turns, driving recklessly.
Good evening. I see your driver's license, please.
Those visual signs lead to the stop. A trained officer using standardized field sobriety tests may observe additional signs that could lead to the arrest for operating while intoxicated.
Just follow the penalty.
Using the horizontal
Try not to
gaze
move your head.
nystagmus test, a trained officer checks a person's eyes for indicators of the effects of alcohol or other drugs on the nervous system.
10.
During the walk and turn test, suspects perform physical and mental tasks that are affected by alcohol or other drugs. The one-leg stand test also involves a combination of mental and physical tasks that provide more information as to whether or not the subject is impaired.
Stop.
If a subject exhibits 4 clues in the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, or 2 clues in the walk and turn test, or 2 clues in the one-leg stand test, the subject is very likely impaired. An evidentiary chemical test will then provide corroborating evidence as to whether or not the subject is legally impaired.
Keep blowing.
Of the field tests available to a trained officer, the horizontal gaze nystagmus, or HGN test, provides the clearest and most distinct clues. Nystagmus is the involuntary jerkiness of the eyes. There are many different types of nystagmus, each with its own peculiar characteristics. Normally, this jerkiness is not visible to the human eye. However, when a person consumes alcohol, the eyes are unable to maintain visual fixation while moving side to side. The eyes appear to slowly drift away from the direction of the gaze and then quickly jerk back. This observable phenomenon is known as horizontal gaze nystagmus and is what trained police officers look for when conducting a field sobriety test of the same name. Intoxicants such as alcohol interrupt various tracking and focusing functions of the eye, which can be observed through a series of simple tests. Here we see an alcohol-free subject being tested for horizontal gaze nystagmus, or HGN. The eyes are following the moving object smoothly. There is no jerkiness at any point, including at the farthest sides. Graphically abstracting the eyes emphasizes the smoothness of the eye's pursuit as they follow the moving object. Now look at the differences in those same eyes after the subject has consumed enough alcohol to be impaired. These eyes have difficulty pursuing a moving object smoothly. There is a distinct jerkiness at maximum deviation. The onset of the jerkiness is prior to 45 degrees. Here is how it looks when graphically illustrated. Again, the eyes have difficulty pursuing a moving object smoothly. There is a distinct jerkiness, called nystagmus, at the farthest side. The eyes are following the moving object smoothly. There is a distinct jerkiness, called nystagmus, at the farthest side. The eyes are following the moving object smoothly. There is a distinct jerkiness, called nystagmus, at the farthest side. The eyes are following the moving object smoothly. There is a distinct jerkiness, called nystagmus, at the farthest side. This jerkiness starts prior to 45 degrees from the center position of the eye. Here is a different subject seen prior to consuming any alcohol in the upper screen and after becoming impaired in the lower. Clearly smooth pursuit in the upper screen, but a distinctly different process in the lower screen. A lack of smooth eye movement. There is a distinct jerkiness at maximum deviation. The onset of the jerkiness is prior to 45 degrees. The officer looks for these 3 clues in each eye, making a total of 6 observable clues. If the subject displays 4 of the 6 clues, he or she is likely impaired by drugs or alcohol. HGN is accurate because the jerkiness is completely involuntary. The subject has no control over it. Tolerance to alcohol does not affect nystagmus. In addition, officers are trained to eliminate other factors which may affect nystagmus, like medical impairment, by first checking for equal pupil size in both eyes and ensuring both eyes track together. Finally, HGN is observable by a trained officer in the dark as well as in the daylight. Lighted only by the officer's flashlight, we see the eyes having difficulty pursuing a moving object smoothly. A distinct jerkiness at maximum deviation. The onset of jerkiness is prior to 45 degrees. Through the use of standardized field sobriety testing, trained and experienced officers are working to remove impaired drivers from our roads. With the use of HGN as a standardized field sobriety test, one of the best indicators of a person's ability to safely drive may be in the eyes.